Hey everyone, this is Max and welcome to another workflows video. Now in this video, I want to show you how to build a complete workflow. Now the example that I'm going to show you will be when a new user is created in an organization, we want to send a Slack message. So for example, you want to welcome a user or perhaps tell other people on the channel, hey, a new user was just created, and go and say hello, for example, or it can be really anything else as well, of course. All right, so let's get started. So the first step is to create a new flow, and let's give it a name. So new user message, and it's always usually a good idea to give it a description. So let's do when a new user is created, send a Slack message. Now, this option is also you want to check because this will allow you to see how the data passes through when you test the flow. Now, if you forget, that's fine. You can always go back to when you edit the workflow name. You can always check this again. So no worries if you forgot. All right, we got the flow. Now, usually the next step is to determine when should this flow be invoked. And there are a number of options. The one we want, and because of the flow that we're building, is we want to be notified when we want to invoke this flow when a new user is created. So this has to be an app event. And the one is going to be Okta. So again, when a new user is created in the organization, we want to invoke this flow. So you can see there are a lot of events that Okta has, and we can search or filter. So this is the one we want, user created. All right. So here we go, and we can kind of collapse this. So the way this works is that, again, when a new user is created, this flow will be invoked, and that's exactly what we want. All right, the next step is let's create the message that we want to send to Slack. Now we can send what we get here directly, but let's just create a nice message before we send the message to Slack. So for that, I'm going to click Add Function, and I'm going to create Compose. And so here, I'm going to say New User. Now we can get the username right here, Okta user, and then we'll go display name and say was created, and we can say go and say hello. Right, and we can even put an emoji. Right, now I have a separate video on this, but it's always a good idea to test each card. Now this one is pretty sort of simple, but we can still test it. So we can click test and say Sam, for example, and click test, and then we can see that the string is formatted correctly. So this is good. All right. Now the next step is to send this message to Slack. So this is going to be an app action because it's a connector to another service. Let's get Slack, and then the one we want here is send. All right. We're going to select the channel and then save. And now we're going to take the output here and map it to Slack input. All right. And again, it's a good idea to test this, so we can click the test, and we can just say new user was created. Test message. Test. And then we can go to Slack, and we can see that the message was sent. All right, so then everything works. Let's save. It's taking a few extra seconds to save. Here we go. All right, and now we're ready to test this. So we're gonna go and create a new user, but before, remember we need to turn on the workflow. So now the flow is on, and we are going to now go to flow history. Now it's empty because we still haven't invoked the flow. But once we invoke it, we'll see information here. again, how data passes from card to card. All right, now let's create a new user. So I'm in my Okta organization, and so I'm in directory people, and I'm going to create a new person. And then we'll say Stella and last name Green. Now we need to provide an email, and we can just kind of do a sort of like a dummy email. So Stella 9400 at email. It's a real email, but only lives for like an hour, I think. So, and I'll show you how it works. And I think that's it. We can send an email to this user. Let's see here. That's it. Let's click save. Oh, user already exists. Okay. I probably created the user and I forgot to delete it. So let's add 1. All right. Let's copy this. Oh, it's actually updated. All right. And let's click save. All right. So a new user is being created. Let's see here. Oh, I do have a user. Let's see. Oh, pending. Here we go. Yes, that's why. Anyhow, so I just created this user. Let's go here and let's add a 1. And let's see quickly here. All right. So this is the email that was sent. This is the standard welcome email from your organization, right? So this works. But let's go to workflows. And we can see that there was one successful run, and we see it right here. And we can see here, if we scroll up here, all right. So the name, so this is an object, but then the name was mapped into the compose card, and then the output from the compose card was mapped to Slack and then sent to Slack, right? So that's the checkbox when you create a workflow. Now, again, if you forget, if you click here, you can always enable it here again, right? And again, I've said this a few times, but I love this view because it just really shows you how the flow is executed and also how the data passes from card to card, which I found pretty awesome. All right, now last thing is we need to go and check in Slack, and right here we can see that a new user was created, and then the message was sent to Slack. Well, very cool. That's all I wanted to show you. Again, what we built is it's a complete flow. I mean, it is pretty has only 2 steps or 3 steps. So you can say it's simple, but that's all right. But it's a real one in the sense that when a new user was created, this workflow was invoked, and then in our case it sent a message to Slack. But of course, in your case, you can do a lot of other different things. You can send an email, for example. You can send a separate email, and many other things. So that's it. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.